Tennis fans worldwide eagerly await if Novak Djokovic will be allowed to compete at the upcoming 2023 BNP Paribas Open Indian Wells and 2023 Miami Open. Senator Rick Scott and Senator Marco Rubio have officially asked the U.S. president to waive the vaccination requirement for Serbia's top tennis player so that he can travel there to compete. The fact that two U.S. senators even filed a request on his behalf shows just how much support he has. Their letter to Joe Biden reads, Mr. Djokovic is a world-class athlete in peak physical condition who is not at high risk of severe complications from COVID-19. It seems illogical and misaligned with the opinions of your administration not to grant him the waiver he requests so that he may travel to the U.S. to compete in a professional event. The lack of public health risk, along with the clear benefit of his participation if it is a major driver for our local economies, should decide before you simply and serve as a precedent for others in his position. Unfortunately, one of the sport's biggest stars may be unable to participate. According to Senator Rick Scott, Novak Djokovic has been denied a vaccine waiver request by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which makes him ineligible to enter the country and compete in the tournaments. Urging the president to allow him to compete, he wrote, We have been told that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security just denied Novak Djokovic's vaccine waiver request, making him ineligible to compete in the U.S. next week in California, the Miami Open. Joe Biden must fix this now, grant the waiver and allow him to compete here in the States. Monday, February 27, 2023. While Djokovic may be disappointed by the denial of his waiver request, he can take comfort that the USTA is still rooting for him. In their statement, they made it clear that they believe he is one of the greatest champions the sport has ever seen, and they are hopeful that he will be able to play in the upcoming tournaments. The statement reads, Novak Djokovic is one of the greatest champions our sport has ever seen. The USTA and US Open are hopeful that Novak is successful in his petition to enter the country and that the fans will be able to see him back in action at Indian Wells and Miami. Even the tournament director of the 2023 BNP Paribas Open Indian Wells, Tommy Haas, told the New York Times that he wants Djokovic to compete at the tournament, saying, We want the best tennis player in the world to be here. He's writing me, he wants to be here. So, of course, you're like, okay, let's try to make this happen. How can we figure this out that's going to be realistic? But at the end of the day, unfortunately, that's not in our hands and is frustrating. Of course, there is still a lot of uncertainty about whether Djokovic can participate in Miami. It remains to be seen whether he can secure an exemption or find another way to enter the country. Previously, he confirmed that he would withdraw before the draw took place if he failed. Novak Djokovic told U.S. withdrawal could help achieve the incredibly rare feat, last chance. World number 1 Novak Djokovic will be absent from Indian Wells and possibly other U.S. tournaments due to COVID laws, but the setback could spin in his favor. American tennis fans will again miss Novak Djokovic for at least part of the U.S. season after his withdrawal from the upcoming Indian Wells tournament. The Serb's unvaccinated status means he won't be allowed to enter the United States until April 10 at the earliest, giving some hope rules will be relaxed in time for the U.S. Open later this year. but tennis great Mats Wilander has suggested his absence from the will grant greater focus as the world number one looks to accomplish one feat that's eluded him throughout his career. While he sits level with Rafael Nadal on a joint record 22 significant titles, 2023 could be the year Djokovic finally ends his wait for a calendar Grand Slam. He's already number one in the world, Wilander told Eurosport. He's already broken all the records regarding number one. So what difference does it make if he wins another Indian Wells or Miami? He doesn't have to deal with the problem of confidence. Most players do. Novak Djokovic does not need much confidence to walk back into the circle of champions and start winning again.